Hey guys, welcome back to Chilling Crime Cases. Please like, comment and subscribe for weekly cases from around the world. Today we're going to be looking at the tragic and chilling case of Marlen Ochoa-Lopez, a pregnant 19-year-old who was murdered in the most violent way imaginable and had a baby stolen directly from her womb by a sadistic woman she met on Facebook. This calculated case of fetal abduction shocked America to its core. Let's jump right into the case. Social media. Everyone uses some form of it. It's a great place for discovery where you can instantly connect with people you know, as well as strangers from all around the world with shared interests. However, it can also be a very dark place where people with sinister intentions can pretend to be someone they're not in order to manipulate you and gain your trust. Unfortunately, this was the case with Marlen, who trusted the wrong person online in her time of need, which ultimately led to her untimely death. Marlen Ochoa-Lopez was born on November 16, 1999, in San Luis de la Loma, a crime-ridden drug trafficking seaside town in the Mexican state of Guerrero. When she was 2 years old, her parents decided to migrate their young family to southwest Chicago in the state of Illinois for a better life for her and her younger siblings. Marlen was a brilliant and exceptional student. She excelled academically at everything that she did. In her second year of high school, she met Giovanni Lopez. They became serious almost straight away and started planning for their future together. Even though they were quite young, they were in a very loving and stable relationship. Friends even said they were emotionally mature beyond their years. In 2016, the teenage couple welcomed their first child, who they named Joshua. Just a year later, in 2017, they got married. Education was still very important to both of them, and they decided to carry on going to school. Both their families helped them take care of their young son. In 2018, at the age of 18, Marlen found out she was pregnant for the second time. Even though it was an unexpected surprise, she was looking forward to becoming a mother for the second time. In spring 2019, Marlen was now heavily pregnant and she was expecting to deliver her second baby boy in a few weeks' time at the beginning of May. Money was very tight in the Ochoa-Lopez household, as they were both students at the Latino Youth High School. In preparation for her baby's arrival, she started proactively looking for ways to save money. She decided to join a Facebook group called Help a Sister Out, which was basically a group where people, mainly women, would help each other by giving away old baby clothes that were in good condition, toys and other items of that nature. On the 5th of March 2019, she made the post on this group. This is what Marlen posted in the group. Hello ladies, I'm due May 10th and I still need to get a lot of things for my son. Due to the fact that I'm still in school and can't work at the moment, I can't afford to buy the rest of the things since I'm short of cash right now. Another woman who was also a member of this group named Clarissa Figueroa commented on Marlen's post saying, I have new things but I'm in Chicago. Marlen replied saying, what's your location? Clarissa replied almost straight away saying, I'm on the south side of Chicago by 79th and Pulaski. If you want to wait a week, my girl has all brand new clothes her son never wore. Marlen replied saying, yes girl, that's fine, thank you so much. Clarissa wrote, no problem girl, I know how it is. She was lucky to have 2 baby showers, so she just loves to spread the wealth. I'm fine with the help. Inbox me for more information, okay? Marlen replied, thank you, girl, I'll inbox you. They moved that conversation to their DMs and arranged to meet at Clarissa's house a week later. On the 23rd of April 2019, Marlen went to school and attended her classes as usual. In the afternoon, she drove from Little Village, where her school is located, to the home of 46-year-old Clarissa Figueroa, which was about 9 miles away. She timed it well so that she could go and collect her baby clothes from Clarissa's house and be back in time to pick up her 3-year-old son Joshua from Teddy Bear Daycare. Unfortunately, Marlen would not be picking up her son from daycare ever again. When Marlen walked into Clarissa's home, she was made to feel very welcome and was asked to take a seat. Clarissa gave her a picture book to look through, which was slightly odd, but Marlen didn't think anything of it. Little did she know that this picture book would be used as a distraction. Not long after that, she was violently attacked by Clarissa. Whilst Marlen was distracted with the picture book, she pounced on her from behind and started strangling her with a thick TV cable with such great force. Heavily pregnant Marlen fought for her life with everything she had. She miraculously managed to get her fingers under the cable. Her fingers acted as a barrier between the cable and her neck, which then released some of the pressure from the strangulation. Pathologically speaking, strangling someone to death is not an easy thing to do. Unlike using a firearm, where there is no body-to-body contact, strangulation is a very personal crime. It requires a lot of strength and can last for several minutes. When Clarissa realized that Marlen was using her fingers to protect her neck and hold off the cable, she screamed out to her daughter Desiree, telling her she wasn't doing her job. At that moment, Desiree jumped up and started peeling away Marlen's fingers from the cable one by one. Clarissa then carried on strangling her. The police report stated that the ordeal lasted between 4 to 5 minutes. It's difficult to imagine the thoughts that were running through Marlen's head during this horrific attack as she was slowly and painfully losing her life, from her mortality to her unborn baby and her 3-year-old son who she was due to collect from daycare. There were no limits to Twisted Clarissa's evil premeditated plan. Shortly after the gruesome murder, Clarissa used a large kitchen knife to slice Marlen's stomach open, cutting her unborn baby out of her womb. She drafted in her boyfriend Peter Bobeck to help with the cover-up. Together, they placed Marlen's body in a trash bag and dumped her at the back of their house. After dumping her body in the trash while still covered in Marlen's blood from head to toe, brazen Clarissa rang 911 to report that she had given birth at home and her baby wasn't breathing. The emergency services arrived at her home and transported both her and Marlen's baby to the hospital. However, when they got to the hospital, the doctors and nurses were very confused because Clarissa didn't present any physical signs of a woman who had just given birth. As it was an emergency case, they put their questions to one side, admitted Clarissa and the baby was put on life support. Unsurprisingly, he had suffered a great deal of severe trauma. With no single shred of shame between them, the Figueroa family brazenly decided to start a GoFundMe, which generated $9,000 to pay for the funeral of the baby, despite the fact that the baby was still alive on life support. Weeks went by and Marlen was nowhere to be found, and her family was increasingly worried because her due date had gone past. Sadly, they had no idea that the baby was forcibly delivered some weeks ago, and Marlen was no longer of this world. Meanwhile, Clarissa and her boyfriend had the audacity to name the baby Xander, which was the name that they had picked out long before the abduction and murder of Marlen. Back on February 5th, 2019, Clarissa had actually made a post on the Help Her Sister Out Facebook group, stating that she was starting to prepare for the arrival of her baby boy Xander. Her own friends and members of this Facebook group recalled being shocked that she was expecting a baby out of the blue because she had previously publicly stated that she had her tubes tied to prevent future pregnancies. When they quizzed her about it, she would give them vague answers. In one interaction with another member of this Facebook group, she was asked how she got pregnant, and Clarissa replied saying she went in for an emergency surgery to remove her appendix, and it somehow led doctors to discovering a cyst on her ovaries. It gets even weirder, because she claimed that after they removed the cyst, they forgot to tie her fallopian tubes back up, which does not make any sense at all. Also, her neighbours claimed that she drank and smoked while telling people she was pregnant. Clarissa's boyfriend, Peter Bobeck, was in on it from the start. In late 2018, he started sharing photoshopped ultrasound images on his Facebook to deceive his followers into thinking that Clarissa was expecting. He also tagged her in this post. Clarissa carried on using social media to support her fake story. She even posted pictures of the baby's nursery with a crib and all the essentials in it. On March 5th, she made a chilling post in the group saying, "Who is due in May? Where is the May mamas at?" Could this post have been intended to be the bait for a potential victim? Even though this case is about Marlen, any of those women in that group could have been the victim. A few weeks after Marlen's disappearance, her friend remembered that she had spoken about arranging to meet a woman from a Facebook group to collect some clothes for her baby. This was the only lead that the detectives had, so they were inclined to investigate it. The police discovered that Marlen had in fact gone to the house of this mysterious woman, also known as Clarissa. They found Marlen's car in the area. The most disturbing thing about the discovery of Marlen's car was that it was covered with parking tickets, so it had actually been on their radar for 3 whole weeks. But they just didn't connect the dots and make the connection. The detectives interviewed Clarissa and asked her if she had seen Marlen on April 23rd. Clarissa denied seeing her on the day of her disappearance, but she told them that she had met her on a previous date. After interviewing her, they decided to get a warrant to access the hospital records and get a DNA test for Marlen's baby. Sure enough, the DNA test came back negative, and it was proved that there was absolutely no way that Clarissa was related to the baby. They extracted the DNA samples from Marlen's toothbrush and hairbrush. They used it to confirm that Marlen was indeed the mother of this baby. The detectives went back to Clarissa's house with a search warrant and found dried blood, large amounts of bleach, and burnt clothes. As they searched the backyard of the house, they found Marlen's body in a trash can, as well as the TV cable that was used to strangle her. This short video shows the police at the crime scene gathering up evidence. Clarissa, Peter, and Desiree were all taken into custody. On May 15th, the day after Marlen's body was discovered, the medical examiner confirmed that the body was indeed Marlen and that the death was homicide by strangulation. The following day, the police department charged Clarissa Desiree with first-degree murder. Peter Bobek was charged with concealing the body. Tragically, Marlen's baby, who was renamed Giovanni, passed away on June 14th due to the trauma and lack of oxygen to his brain when he was cut out of his mother. Further criminal charges were added, and they were also charged with the murder of baby Giovanni, including aggravated kidnapping, dismembering a human body, in addition to concealing a body. Despite all the overwhelming evidence, they all pled not guilty. This concludes the tragic and chilling case of Marlen Ochoa-Lopez. The matter of the fact is that she was failed massively after her death by the hospital that turned a blind eye and didn't question Clarissa when she turned up to the hospital with baby Giovanni, and it was clearly evident that she hadn't just given birth. She was also let down by the authorities, who were very slow to investigate her disappearance and not treating it as a serious case when she first went missing. Her family and friends did most of the work initially before the police started taking it seriously. The only bit of consolation that came from this case was Marlen's Law, which was proposed by her family and was put in place in the state. Marlen's Law is a state legislation that requires identification and DNA testing for anyone entering a hospital claiming a newborn baby is their own. Could this have been prevented? Maybe, maybe not. It's really hard to say. We've all spoken and trusted random people on different forms of social media and also in our normal everyday lives. For most of us, we rarely give any thought to the potential dangerous consequences that could come with these interactions and the intentions of these people. There was absolutely no way Marlen could have foreseen what Clarissa had in store for her. Fetal abduction crimes are extremely rare. Could she have exercised a bit more caution? Probably. Maybe she could have met her in a public place, or perhaps brought a friend with her, or even a husband. But even if she had done all these things, can we definitely say it would have resulted in a different outcome? You see, I'm not too sure. If someone really wants to get you in this life, they will always find a way. And Clarissa was willing to go the extra mile and do whatever it took to secure that baby. Thanks for watching this video. I want to know what you guys think. Please like, comment and subscribe for weekly cases. And you can also let me know of any other cases that you would like me to cover.